Welcome to Convo number 2. I'm your host, Echo Fan Grey Wolf. This is the video where I may lose some followers. Okay, so before I do that, let me apologize now. I will be engaging in a Trump conversation, and I just want you guys to understand I will never like this man. And you can like him, I don't care. I pray that you're liking him only for the fact that it accelerated your wallet and didn't make you think that it was okay to be racist, because the man is a racist. You don't have to agree. Don't come with me in the comments, because again, I send warnings, not invitations. The world is in a fucked up position right now. And before anybody says anything, fuck no. I'm not here to persuade you not to vote for Trump. Alright? But I am here to tell you that if you do, and you're my skin tone, or any skin tone that's not his skin tone, you better be prepared that you might be losing your rights. And if you're not up to speed on that when you are his skin tone, you guys are going to get it just as bad. Especially your daughters. Because here's that thing. And I'm going to say this. You guys aren't going to like it, and I don't care, but you might want to do some research. In, I think, 20 or 30 of the 50 states, women are losing the rights to their body autonomy. There's a woman who is pregnant right now who won in court to get an abortion because the baby's not going to make it. Texas is fighting her to make her carry a baby that's going to die to term, which both her and the baby could die. And you guys might not have sisters or siblings, and you might not care about the next female other than when you're sticking your dick inside of her. But understand something. A woman has to consent to sex. You can't just take it. Alright? And from the way that they're making these things, it is highly possible that the increase of rape is probably going to be happening. Your mother, your sister, your best female cousin, your aunt, your daughter could be on that victim list. Because see, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this with my full chest, and you're not going to like it, and I'm going to give you the whole 1,000. Politicians like laws that fuck with the poor, until that same law fucks with their kids. Alright? If a politician's child is raped by a person who is not of color, or a person who is of color, you best believe if they're in a state with an abortion in it, and they're the ones writing the laws that it can't be aborted, and their daughter gets raped, they'll be the first motherfuckers to break that fucking law. We're gonna find a loophole for our kids, but fuck you and fuck your kid. No. So, if somebody cold cops your 10-year-old daughter, and you're just a normal person, your 10-year-old daughter's fucked. Twice. Fucked by the guy that fucked her, and fucked by the system because they're going to force a 10-year-old, an 8-year-old, a 7-year-old, yes, a 7-year-old, even a 6-year-old. Yes, what, you guys don't understand the concept that, yes, there is a record, and you can Google this shit if you want to fact check me. There is a record of a young girl who had a baby at 5 years old. Her daddy was raping her. But you guys aren't taking that into consideration, or you're voting for all these abortion bills. Hey, when it's your child on the chopping block, I don't want to hear that bullshit, because that's how this works. When it's their child on the chopping block, they do something about it. But when it's your child, I don't have children, but if I had children, if it's one of our children, guess what, motherfucker? No. Oh, your daughter got gang raped, and she's pregnant. Guess what? She's having that baby. Yo, it was 7 black men. Too damn bad. She's having that baby. But if that politician that wrote that bill's daughter is raped, oh, we're going to slide you off into New Orleans somewhere where we can get this abortion. And they're not going to get any consequences. While this woman trying to have her baby aborted in Texas, the system has told any doctor that assist her, if she leaves the state, the city, or whatever, she will be arrested for murder in Texas. Now, y'all let that shit sink in while you're voting for these red motherfuckers who are going to take your daughter's rights. Now, I'm not talking to you rich motherfuckers or you politicians because you're gonna cheat the system. You're gonna fuck everybody. But if something happens to your kid, you're going to magically, she didn't get pregnant. We went on vacation to Barbados and she came back normal. Where's the fairness in that? But this is what you guys are voting for if you vote in Trump. Yeah, you like your wallets being fat. He said he was only going to be a dictator for a day. I can say this on TikTok and hopefully not get banned. For those who do not remember history, all dictators fall at the hands of the people that they rule. So it would be a really bad idea for him to want to be a dictator at all. But if he has to be a dictator, let's take it back to Anastasia's family, the Tsar of Russia. He was eliminated by Russians. Let's take it back to Kim Jong-un's daddy and how Kim Jong-un's uncle, not too long ago, was assassinated by two pretty Asian girls who rubbed some shit on his face and he died. Let's talk about the two Russians that got asylum and they got poisoned. They didn't die, but they came really fucking close to it. But I'm sure you're all going to look at this video and say, oh, this guy's a never Trumper, so fuck him. We don't want to have nothing to do with that. But this is what you guys are voting for. You just don't know that's what you're voting for. Because in your local elections, if you're not voting in your local elections, when you vote for the big guy, they're all following in line with him. It's funny how all the Republicans are the ones that's reporting him in court. It's funny how all of the Republicans are wishy-washy on, do we support this motherfucker or do we not support this motherfucker? But, I mean, you guys have to learn the hard way. I'm praying that you don't, but some of us have to learn the hard way. I've never had to learn the lesson the hard way more than once. You know, we had goldfish that literally jumped out of the tank. I have that picture. I have a picture of my goldfish. The centurion is standing in front of him. I don't think he's there anymore. But, see those goldfish? You know when we learned that they could jump out the tank? When we found out that one of them was on the floor. You know what else we learned? This motherfucker keeps doing it. We never closed the top. So one day, I went somewhere, and I came back and I said, hey Dad, where's the goldfish? He said, oh, it's in there. My dad went and bought another goldfish. The problem was that my retarded ass is a detail-oriented person. I said, that's not the same goldfish. And we had 13 at the time. That was kind of the remaining ones. The main one that jumped out had a stripe on it. I like to call it a scar, but it's a stripe. And it's like, what do you mean? I said, it had a stripe on it, like right across the belly, like right, it goes like from the right wing to the left wing, like right directly where his little flippers are. It went right across there. You couldn't miss it. It was like he had like a tiger stripe, but it was a gold stripe. He was gold, his belly was white, except for that one little stripe across there, which I noticed. He's like, that fish is in there. I was like, no, Dad, that fish is not in there because all these fish are exactly the same. He's like, how the hell would you know that? I said, because I pay attention to shit. Now, so therefore, there was a stripe there. My dad probably didn't even remember the damn thing. But I remember the stripe on the goldfish. So unless I cross through dimensions, I remember the stripe on the fucking goldfish. And it's things like that that you don't pay attention to that generally comes back to bite us in the ass. When you least fucking expect it, it comes back to bite us in the ass. And if you're not careful, it will bite you in the ass. So you have to ask yourself, what the fuck do we do when you have a vagina and the men of the world who don't have a vagina put women in power who have a vagina but don't want you to be able to protect your vagina? This is where shit gets complicated. And women are voting for these dumb women that sit in there and forget that they're women who don't care about their daughters, their granddaughters, their sisters, their aunts, or themselves. I can almost guarantee you, for any congresswoman who has wrote down, we're going to pass this abortion law, if that woman got raped the very fucking next day, she would be reconsidering that fucking law, or she would be breaking that fucking law when she finds out that she's pregnant by her rapist. Say it doesn't happen. Go ahead. I can prove you wrong because, like I said, I brought this up before here in Charlottesville. We had a thing in Virginia where if you're driving and you're from New York, you can do 80 miles an hour on 64. And if you got a ticket, you pay the standard amount of whatever that ticket is. But us local people from Virginia, whether you're from the top of Virginia to the bottom of Virginia, if we did 80 miles an hour, our ticket was tripled. You know why it stopped? Because the motherfuckers that wrote that law, kids were the only one getting caught. Congressmen kids with fancy fast cars showing off, going up and down 64, were getting pulled over left and right by state police. All of a sudden, there's a petition all over the internet. There's a petition going to doors. I signed the motherfuckers. You know, because paying $1,000 for a ticket is fucking ridiculous. But, I mean, you were speeding, but had it been a normal person or somebody from New York that can run 80 miles an hour up and down, they didn't have to pay more than $300 to $400 for their ticket because they didn't live here. They could mail their tickets in. You had to pay your ticket or you had to go to court. And if you didn't pay the ticket or go to court to fight the ticket, you were looking at some time. So yeah, like I said, politicians don't give a fuck about you. They want that vote, they'll get that vote. And if you're voting against women's rights, which most motherfuckers are, they just don't realize it. Did you forget that you have women in your family? Did you forget that you came from a woman? Did you understand that if your daughter is raped, you're fucked and you're raising a rape baby whether you like it or not? Because if you didn't, that's what's going to happen. And if you did, congratulations. I just fucking taught you something. Now, let me bring up Trump really, really quickly. Because I don't like talking about this man because his name tastes like shit in my mouth. This man does not like people of color. Period. So this specifically goes out to Natives for Trump, Asians for Trump, Hispanics for Trump, Blacks for Trumps, Asians for Trumps in case I missed it. You're voting against your own best interests. So either you're really fucking stupid or you're trying to protect your proximity to whiteness. There's just one fucking problem. You need to go back and watch some of the videos about, I heard the Kung flu was getting around, the China virus. So if you're Asian and you're for Trump, you have to deal with racist people who can't tell the fact that you might be Filipino or Japanese or Korean or Laos or Laotian or Vietnamese, North and South, or Indonesian or Malaysian from China. Because most racists think you all look alike and they will attack you. But why? Because you voted for that shit. Because you're Asians for Trump. No. Oh, I got it. It's because he didn't say anything about Japan or Korea or Laos or Malaysia or Vietnam or Indonesia or Tibet. Those aren't your Asians. He just said something about the Chinese virus and Kung flu. And again, back to what I said 5 seconds ago. A racist motherfucker, whether it be a black racist or a white racist, can't tell any of you apart, and they will attack you. Or did you miss the whole thing that Olivia Munn started on, attacking people who were being attacked by going on social media and letting everybody know, hey, this shit's not fucking right. But you know, hey, that's your thing. And for you blacks for Trump, because I'm part Native and I'm part black, I'm going to get on natives in a minute, but let me get on the blacks first. You're either exceptionally stupid or you're just not aware of this man not allowing black people to work in front of high investment white people, not allowing black people to live in high income areas, not allowing black people to, be in certain casinos at certain times, and the most important thing that you guys have forgotten. Because, see, I stopped liking Donald Trump for a couple of reasons, but this was the main reason. When he became the president, he never apologized to the Central Park Five, which DNA proved innocent, and they did a documentary, and he still said, even if the DNA proved them innocent, they were still fucking guilty. But you guys don't want to hear that because you're Trumpers. I get it. Sometimes you have to watch your God fall before you actually understand what the fuck is going on. Or it has to affect you directly. Because I know how black people work. I'm part black. I know exactly how this shit works. You know, not my problem. He's not talking about me because I'm a financially well black Republican. Motherfucker, he talking about you too. You just don't want to see it because you have those blinders on. Because somehow or another, your morals and his morals seem to work together because you're a richer black person than most of the black people who vote Democrat. So you think you are above them, which is protecting your proximity to whiteness. So therefore, you're going to go for that. Now let's talk about the native shit. First, it was the Central Park 5, because I'm also part black. Now let's talk about the native shit about they don't like Indians to me. They don't want him to pay taxes on his casino. Or rather, he didn't want to pay higher taxes on his casino, so he went to California to contest the casinos in California that was wiping out his casinos, or Nevada, or wherever, but they were putting it into his casinos because people were going to the native casinos. Now, let me explain this to you. And y'all probably have to find this video because I can't. I know it exists because I literally watched him say that shit on whatever live it was. But I knew I was watching him. A native woman asked him because Standing Rock was happening. A native woman literally asked this man, when you become the president, are you going to stop the pipeline from coming through Standing Rock? He looked her dead in the face and said, I have no ties with that pipeline. I will not let it come through Standing Rock. A few days later, well, about 6 months later, let's give it 6 months just for me to be a little bit closer to accurate. Obama's coming out of the presidency. Native women had been talking to Obama too, and Obama straight told him, I'm going to make sure that nothing goes through Standing Rock. My final decree as president, I'm going to get rid of that pipeline. I'm not going to let it come through Standing Rock. So he signs it into decree. As my final act of president, the pipeline will not go through the Dakotas. It's not going to happen. Boom. The very next motherfucking day, Donald Trump comes into power. The first thing he does is get rid of Obama's decree. Pipeline's going to go through the Dakotas. Yet, he literally told a Native American woman that he had no ties to that shit, and that shit wasn't going to happen. Now, Standing Rock got slowed down. I don't know if it actually stopped, but it got slowed down. No. But this man literally lied to her in her face, and then signed a decree to make Obama's decree of protection disappear so that the pipeline can come through Standing Rock. But this is the guy you natives want to vote for, with you natives for Trumps. You understand the situation? And for the record, in case anybody has been paying attention, we're going on about the 4th or 5th month now that the Navajo Nation in Arizona does not have water rights. Nobody's doing anything. But I will give Trump a tiny bit of credit for trying to do some Native American task forcing for MMIW. However, he didn't stick with it long. Now let's talk about Biden real fast. Joe Biden just signed a decree to make sure that people can stop hunting Native Americans in certain states because some of that shit's still legal, where you can hunt down an actual Native American person and get away with that shit. Obama didn't do that. Trump didn't do that. In fact, no president before Biden did that. So you guys understand that if you're not in that diaspora, there's that. Now let's get to Hispanics and Mexicans, because they're not the same. But we're going to loop y'all together today for this video so I can go make the apology video that you deserve. When he got in office, after the Muslim ban, the first damn thing he said was that Mexicans are drug dealers and rapists. Hispanics, he said that they weren't very smart people. But yet, y'all are proving him right because you have Hispanics for Trump. No, but those Hispanics are protecting their proximity to whiteness. Those Mexicans are protecting their proximity to whiteness. But yet this man literally said that both classes of people were dirty They come from shithole countries, and they've sent all of their murderers and rapists and drug dealers to America with no tangible proof whatsoever. But those Mexicans for Trump, still in the picket line. Those Hispanics for Trump, still in the picket line. Those blacks for Trumps and those Asian for Trumps are still in the picket line. So you may not like this video because I just dropped you a whole 1,000, which is fine if you don't like this video. I expect a lot of people to leave right now, and I'm okay with that. But ask yourself this question. Are you leaving me because I told you the truth, or are you leaving me because I just don't like Trump? See, if you're leaving me because I told you the truth, it's fine. If you're leaving me because I just don't like Trump, it's also fine. But then you have to ask yourself, am I voting against my own best interest? If I'm a woman and I'm voting for the Trump party, I won't be able to have a period without these motherfuckers knowing. I won't be able to pee without these motherfuckers knowing. And now here's the fun part about that shit. You think they're going to give a fuck if people of color have abortions? Oh, that's one less black person we got to deal with. That motherfucker's gone. That's one less Asian person we got to deal with. That motherfucker's gone. That's one less Spanish, one less Mexican person, because the only people that the abortion laws are really going to fuck with are white people. Just like the white lady in Texas that is fighting to have an abortion so that she and the baby that's not going to make it both don't die. But you guys probably aren't aware of that. I don't know her name and I don't care. I will pray for her, and that's the best I can do because she's in a world of hurt. And she wants to have more children, but to do that safely, she has to get rid of the one that's not going to make it. But Texas is giving her the finger, both of them, in all the holes. And though she won the case, Texas won't let her go get the abortion. So you understand where you're going here. See, if a person of color gets an abortion, no one's really going to give a fuck because it's a person of color. They don't want us here any goddamn way. But if a person of non-color gets an abortion, she's looking at prison time. You understand how fucked up that is when you're voting for this to happen to your fellow siblings or daughters or sisters or aunts and aunties? Your grandmother can't get pregnant, but, you know, she can still be sexually assaulted. But this is the results of what you're doing when you vote for this douchebag full of dick tip dumpster fire. But hey, I tried to save you. Now, let me quote Rorschach. All the hookers and politicians will look up into the sky and see us, and they will scream, "Save us." And I will look down and whisper, "No." You're voting against your own worst interests or your own best interests. It's kind of your fault when all your rights are taken. And you have to think about that shit. So yeah, I'm probably going to lose a lot of followers. I'm probably going to lose every follower. But I'm okay with that because for everyone that leaves, someone will find something I do entertaining, and hopefully they'll bring you back. And as I tell you guys, whenever I make a video that is offensive, I do make an apology video, which will be the next video. But I also tell you guys, I give you the whole 1,000. Sometimes I give you 99.9. And sometimes people just can't take that shit, which is acceptable. But you know, you got to come to some point in your life where you have to reach that cutoff point where you say, damn, you know, that was pretty stupid for me to vote in that direction. Now my daughters, if I have them, don't have a future say of their body. And you got congressmen tracking her period. But you guys aren't thinking about that, right? You just wanted to hear about the racist shit that I said. But yeah, I mean, we're not even going to bring up the fact that this man is a devoted racist. We already got past that in the first 5 minutes of this video. But you don't have to believe it. But for the races that I mentioned, Asians for Trump, blacks for Trumps, native for Trumps, Hispanic and Mexicans for Trump, you guys are fucking yourselves. And you're fucking your daughters. And may God have mercy on you and them. I'm done talking. I'm Echo Fan Grey Wolf. Be seeing you. And best of luck.